What's up? Good morning.
Hello,
Good
everyone.
morning. Matt rocking it in Mexico. Like, looks good.
Hey, guys.
Looks good.
Matt, what's up? Hey, it's good to see you here.
What's up, dude?
What's up,
I know this
Fran?
guy.
What's up, everyone else?
Hey, Marcus.
It's really nice in Mexico. It's true.
Yeah, man.
Mike, you're not in the usual co-working.
No, I'm not. I'm at home. You know, I teach in the evening, so Thursday and Friday are like my weekend. I teach Saturday morning.
What are you
So I'm
teaching?
at home. I teach at UPenn. I teach fintech at UPenn. I'm the fintech bootcamp
What?
instructor.
No way. That's really cool.
Yeah,
We
no
should-
way. Yeah, I train like 16 students each cohort. I've done 2 so far, so it's pretty fun.
Wait, so you do them individually?
Yeah, it's like a cohort. So it's 16 students and they take a boot camp for 24 weeks with me. And it's like 3 days. It's like 3 times a week for a couple hours. So
Right. Is that where you work with Joel?
that's how I know Joel. Yeah, that is how I know Joel.
Right, right. Really cool. Really,
And then we
really,
also
really
work
cool.
together on all the hackathons.
So you get to recruit people for your hackathon ideas just
Yeah,
out of
yeah,
university.
pretty much.
That's really smart. Nice.
Yeah.
All right. We usually wait a few more minutes just to see if more people show up. We invited a lot of people from the hackathon, but it's clashing with one of their sessions, so people might prefer to be there. But did you sign up for this one, Mike?
Yeah, it's the idea brainstorming session.
Yeah.
Yeah, I signed up for it. We're gonna do Superfluid again.
Okay.
Hopefully we'll get our prize when the competition's over, right?
I hope you don't get tired of using Superfluid too soon.
Oh, I think it's great. I like it. We're gonna do, I showed you the bonsai thing, right? The bonsai banks thing, I think at one point. We're gonna do something similar and stream and take care of a little plant. I think we're gonna do corgis though. We're gonna do like crypto corgis because we have me and Joel and the other guys on the team. We have a bunch of those from a previous hackathon. So we're probably gonna do like take care of your corgi, and then you can like evolve it like a Pokemon.
I'm sure we should loop in the Queen of England for the corgi game.
Yeah, I have like 3 sets of 3 that are like the same color but get progressively more attributes. So it's kind of like, you know, if you stream for a long enough period of time, you know, your corgi you'll unlock and be able to transfer these corgi NFTs.
Would they evolve like based
Yeah,
on
like
how much
there's
you're
like
streaming?
3 corgis, they all kind of get progressively better. Maybe I'll share them later, but yeah. And then if you stream for a certain amount of time, you know, you'll unlock the first corgi and then you can have that and do what you want with it. And then over time you get the second one and then you get the third one. And then at the end, it works like a piggy bank. So you can like smash it and take your money back.
But there's some super fluid context to this story. So when we did drip in the hackathon for the NFT hack, which obviously Mike played a key role in, like when Timur and I were presenting on like the main table with Kartik, like in our like DAO chat, like we're like, oh yeah, like we did it, like we did like presented for Superfluid and Polygon, and then Mike's like, hey guys, like it was like the two presentations before it was crypto corgis, like, hey guys, I bought like a ton of corgis. I think this thing is gonna blow up. So it was like simultaneously. Kind of, it was inspired by Superfluid.
But I always had the plan that I was gonna do something with them like this, like not necessarily a piggy bank, but like I didn't just buy those corgis like willy nilly. I was gonna use them for something.
There you go.
I mean, if you buy a dog, you have to afterwards take care of it, right? You can't just abandon it in your wallet, right?
I didn't buy just a dog. I bought like
care.
a whole pack. Like
You're basically a dog trainer now.
Yeah, basically, yeah. It was fun though. I like it. The art is cool too. I showed it to some of my other friends who actually make the art NFTs, and they bought some too because they were like, I think they bought really cool ones, better than mine. They kind of had an eye for it, so. But
All right, nice.
Should we kick it off?
Yes.
All right, so let me dive into the agenda for today, and then we'll do a quick round of introductions. Can you guys see my screen? Yay. All right, so thanks for coming to the call. We love to see you. It's a monthly call we do with our community that will progressively steer more and more into our protocol and understanding how we can evolve it in the right direction. But for now, we're just basically telling you what happened in the last month. And for today, we will cover the upcoming hackathon from ETH Global, which is HackMoney. It's starting tomorrow and is going to run for 3 weeks. So hopefully Francesco and Patrick will tell you more about that. We will then dive into our thinking around making Web3 more of an economy than just a DeFi financial speculation environment, and our thinking around how we could monetize Web3 and thus create an economy that is a real economy of services and value and not just financial speculation. Then we will go into some of the big projects that have been building on top of our Superfluid infrastructure. And we let them, basically we let the creators, ideators, and builders tell you directly what they are about. And then as always, we'll open for Q&A to understand what you think about Superfluid, how you're using it, if you have any questions, or even if you just joined today and this is your first community call ever, and you wanna ask some questions about the technology, please feel free to do so. So I'll head it back to Francesco for some presentation around HackMoney, or Patrick, if you're, oh, it's Patrick. Yeah, Patrick, go ahead. Stage is yours.
Alrighty.
Just for some housekeeping, we are recording this, so don't show yourself if you don't want to be seen.
So HackMoney is coming up. We've got, I think today might be the last day to register. So if you are interested in participating, I highly recommend it. All the ETH Global Hackathons are always a ton of fun. This one, you have, it's not just a weekend, so you have a good amount of time to complete your project. And you can sign up. I'm pretty sure the link is in at hack.superfluid.finance. If not, we'll put it there. But that's going to be your portal for getting started, finding a team and all that sort of stuff. So what is HackMoney? So of course, it's a hackathon, and we are contributing a bunch of money and prizes. So we have 4 prizes, and then we have an extra prize pool. And the top one is $2,500, which is a lot of money. And hopefully there'll be a couple projects that compete for this. And what we want to see is the best checkout experience. And what that means is, when you pay with Stripe, when you pay with PayPal, you're doing single-time payments. And when you pay with Superfluid, you're doing money over time. So that's a lot different. And so there's a lot of cognitive work that has to go on there, a little bit more education that has to be done to help users through that experience. And then also to help the vendors who are selling stuff, and the merchants, and the service, the tool providers, right, to help them understand how they are going to create these checkouts for their users and get the user through that flow. And so that's why there's so much money on this one, is because it's going to be a lot of work. It's going to be a lot of design thinking and a lot of user testing. Maybe if you get that far, that would be awesome. But at the end of the day, have fun with it. Let's see what you come up with. Something that's smooth and feels really good and explains this whole concept of streaming money, instead of just kind of assuming that people understand. And then the next 3 prizes are $1,500, and they are to stream in and out of a savings account. So if you have somebody who has money saved and maybe the savings account earns interest, maybe it doesn't, but we want to just have some idea of this. And there's longer descriptions as well in the hack document, hack.superfluid.finance. The next one is a streaming exchange. So send tokens in and get a different token back. Imagine like if Uniswap was like a real person, and or like if Uniswap was like not just this static thing where you click, swap, like you can just like always be sending them tokens, and then Uniswap is always sending you other tokens back. So that would be pretty cool. And then the ERC 777 callbacks, which is when you send tokens to a contract or an address, and it triggers all this cascading logic and stuff down the line. How's my video? Let's see. Let me stop sharing for a second. Oh, my video got disconnected for some reason. I apologize. I'll continue on and get that fixed in a second here. And then there's an extra prize pool. So there's $3,000 just for anyone who builds anything with Superfluid. And that's going to be split among all the builders. So you will make some prize money if you build a Superfluid in your hack. Now this, like, you can't just install the Superfluid SDK and say that that's, using Superfluid. So, you definitely have to integrate it in some way, but I have confidence that you guys can come up with something that is easy to add, that you can, demonstrate some of the features of Superfluid in your hack in some way. Sorry. All right, so the JS SDK, we did a presentation or a workshop on that. DeFi surf lessons, we did that on Tuesday. It was sick, bro. And we talked about bob.flow to Alice and passing a flow rate. We talked about how to present numbers that tick up so that your users can get the sense of feeling things happening. We talked about how to calculate flow rates. We talked about how to query data from the graph so that you can show that stuff quickly to your users. That recording, we'll drop the link in the chat here for the recording for that. It's also a presentation that you can fork. So you can fork the presentation and all the code is there for you to use immediately and test. And then if you want, you can take those components and just rip them out and throw them into your application. So something that will be easy to get started with. And then the last slide here is we're going to have another workshop coming up on Tuesday, this coming Tuesday. And it's going to be in the morning on the West Coast and kind of the afternoon in the East Coast and evening in Europe. And we are going to talk about super apps and like building a full dApp with Superfluid. So if you want to just get started, watch the workshop that we already did. And then after that one, this will kind of be a continuation to say, okay, now you got the basic concepts. Let's actually build a dApp. Let's build a super app that can has callbacks where we say, okay, if somebody does something, if somebody starts a flow to my app, what do I want to happen? I can define callbacks and start writing business logic and all that sort of fun stuff. So yeah, sign up if you're not signed up yet. It should be a lot of fun. You have to stake, you have to stake a little bit of funds, but as long as you submit something, you get that back, which means for you that the hackathon is going to be free as long as you follow through, which you just submit anything. Like, yeah, hope to see you there.
Right, Pat, you were a bit noisy, so I just muted you there, but thanks for the presentation. I hope to see everyone at HackMoney. Me, Mike, and Pat are always in the chat. So if you ever join in there, just kind of put some emojis, tell people about Superfluid. It's always useful. And it's good to see that, okay, so 5 people are coming, 3 people are thinking about it, and the others are going to change their mind very soon, I hope. It's super important that you guys come. There's I think this is the hackathon I've seen so far in the Ethereum space with the most money in bounties. Like it's like, I think 150K in bounty prizes. It's going to be a really big one. So if you don't have if you haven't signed up yet, go and do it now. I think today is the last day. O'Brien says it's over 200K. Okay, so this is going to be a very big one. So it's definitely worth joining in. If you've never done a hackathon, they're extremely fun. It's where I met Mike and also Meow, who's not here. So yeah, definitely fun opportunities. All right. So the top prize we're putting up this year is $2,500 for a web-free checkout, right? So the reason we decided to do this is we've done a few hackathons already, right? But this never came up. We've never seen anyone build a checkout. But for us, a checkout is super important because payments are one of the most core things to blockchain, right? Bitcoin was born as a peer-to-peer cash system, right? It was meant for payments, but we never saw payments really come up. And one of the reasons I think that is because actually most of the things we buy and sell on the internet are services, right? Most businesses sell services. People sell their time, which is also a kind of service. And for those, what you need are recurring payments. One-off payments like Bitcoin don't really cut it. But the problem is, if you do one-off payments, you then have to trust the counterparty, right? So imagine I pay you a salary, right? And I pay you at the beginning of the month. Now you could potentially stop working. And there's no way for me to enforce that if you're an anonymous person on the web, right? And as we know, crypto, it's all about anonymity. It's all about being open access. But we need a way to make trustless payments. And that's where I think Superfluid really shines. Superfluid is a way to make subscription payments, to make recurring payments over time, where you basically settle every second. This means that the counterparties don't have to trust each other. It means that if somebody stops providing a service, you can cut off the payment, and there's never any ambiguity because subscriptions using Superfluid are either off or on. There's never that last month which you don't know if it's going to get paid or the service is going to be provided, right? So this is kind of unique to the way streaming money works, and I think it's one of the kind of more it's one of those things about Superfluid that most people don't think about, but it's actually a really good thing for Web3, right? Because we don't trust each other. So we need this trustless way of exchanging money. Now, obviously, open access, the fact that blockchains, crypto, Web3, everything's open access, right? That's super important for us because we believe anybody, anywhere, wherever they are, should be able to sell goods and services online. And by building a Web3 checkout, you enable this, right? You enable anyone to install a piece of open source code and start accepting payments. And just think of it, right? You build a piece of software that can have a global impact. It can help someone on the other side of the world start making a living online. And that's something that inspires us at Superfluid to keep working on this. But ultimately, we need a good interface, right? Because not everybody's a coder. Obviously, there's a lot of coders in here, right? We're all kind of comfortable using JavaScript, but most people need a good UX UI. So this is why we put a bit more money in this prize, and we really want to see something easy to use, easy to install, and kind of smooth, right? So the reason we think this can make Web3 more sustainable. Now, at the moment, if you think about it, most of Web3 is either ICO funded, right? So people who sell a lot of tokens at the beginning of their company's cycle and then effectively don't have a business model, right? They sell the token and then they try and survive as long as their treasury allows them to. And then at some point they either fizzle out or plug the token into their systems because they have to make it work. But we haven't really seen this pick up the way we all thought maybe 3 years ago, right? For example, for me, when I joined the industry. Now, the reason for this, in my opinion, is that tokens are very good at aligning incentives, but they're not very good for payments. The way we should do payments is through subscriptions. Subscriptions are the way to do payments online. It's proven, right? All Web2 is living on subscriptions. We have massive companies that sustain themselves through recurring payments from a lot of users. Now, Superfluid enables this, and the really cool thing is it enables it with no intermediaries in a peer-to-peer way, in an open fashion, using crypto, and globally available. Right? Because don't forget, Stripe is easy to install and everything, but not everybody can use it. It's not globally available because there are countries that can't get access to this kind of financial technology. So by doing all of this, we think we can enable not only Web3 protocols and DAOs and other kinds of online businesses to become sustainable by having recurring revenues, but we can also start building decentralized finance to serve them, right? And that's the other important thing, because at the moment, DeFi is kind of self-serving, right? You use Uniswap to trade tokens that are the token from the lending service, right? So it's kind of self-referential in a very strong way. We all know that it doesn't really matter. It's still fun and it's still really cool. And we're still making some breakthroughs from a technological point of view. But ultimately, I believe, and I think most of us at Superfluid agree with this, that finance should serve businesses and individuals, right? It should allow businesses and individuals to improve their financial security. And for that, what you need is you need to bring cash flows on chain, right? We need people to get paid in streams. We need companies to have revenues in streams. And once we do this, we can build all sorts of financial services for these people, because we then have cash flows, right? If you think of it, cash flows are the base for a lot of finance, because if you have revenue, you can then get advances on that revenue, you can share that revenue, you can sell that revenue, you can make investments based on that revenue. So it's very important for us to bring more cash flows on chain to enable financial services that are unlocked by cash flows. So yeah, I hope that wasn't too boring. I just wanted to kind of share a bit our vision. It's something we maybe should do more often, I think, maybe more bite-sized. But yeah, does anybody have any comments on that? Any questions at all? Thanks.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So this might be jumping the gun a bit, but hopefully I don't. So with Superfluid and a lot of other tools, I think the last hackathon scaling Ethereum, there was Arbitrum to kind of play with. This time around, Polygon's the HackMoney hackathon. Is Superfluid going to be on Polygon or something else that is easier, cheaper to deploy to versus? I mean, I guess Ethereum's pretty cheap nowadays, but that could obviously change.
Yeah, I think Superfluid is definitely going to be multi-chain. Ultimately, it's a way to make payments, right? You shouldn't have to go where we are to make a payment. You should be able to make a payment where either you keep your money or where the person you want to pay keeps your money. So I think it's important for us to try and be everywhere where people want to use us. Where that ends up being is an open question. We didn't deploy to Matic, well, now Polygon or XDAI, right? It was community members who did it because they wanted to use it. So ultimately, we had to support it in our dashboard. There's a lot of work that went into it, but it was community driven. So I think wherever the community feels we should be, we will. And if that's mainnets, maybe it's mainnets. If that's ZK rollups when they're ready, or optimistic rollups when they're ready, I think that's going to happen. So yeah, it's not a matter of picking which one. It's a matter of seeing which one ultimately gets the most usage.
And so, because I think a lot of open source devs kind of have a similar thought of like someone could have technically taken Uniswap and just thrown it on, Polygon just for kicks. Obviously, there be some issues with that, but I guess you guys' stance is, open to deployment on various EVMs. If the community, and I mean, what's the dividing line there? I mean, do we express support and you guys run with it, or is like one of us just deploys it and does some work to try to support it, or what? I don't want, we don't want to step on you guys' toes with that kind of stuff.
Yeah, no, sure. So there is a deployment guide. So we wrote a deployment guide. So if you want to go and deploy it, you can do it. Like the guide is there, right? So that's not a problem. Now, there are other pieces that need to kind of be put in place to make it work properly, right? So it's always better if things are coordinated somewhat. And for example, for mainnet, there are some reasons why we haven't really done this yet. And I'm happy to go into that maybe in Discord. I think it's I can go slightly longer form. So it's something we are hoping to be able to do soon, mainnet specifically. For other chains, it really is just a matter of coordinating and making it happen. We can support anything, but one thing that's not so obvious when you look at it from outside, by the way, the deployment guide is in the chat. One thing that's not so obvious is that it's not just deploying the contracts. There's a lot of stuff that has to work as well, right? First and foremost, it's nodes. So nodes are super hard to run on some blockchains. It looks easy when you just use a public RPC and you just do 2 or 3 transactions, but when you have to index all the blockchain, pull all the events, I can assure you it's difficult. And for our dashboard, we do run our own infrastructure. So we're not relying on third parties. And because of that, some blockchains are notoriously impossible to run nodes for, like BSC. Others are easier. Others are still in infancy, like for example, some of the rollups. It's not easy to run your own infra, and that's something that we care about. So that's potentially could slow things down. But if you do have anything in mind and would like to help us do it, just you know where to find us. We can talk about it in Discord, and happy to make it happen.
Awesome, thanks.
All right. Does anybody have any other questions? Otherwise, we can. Yeah.
I have one, but it's kind of a far stretch because you said Stripe is not available everywhere, and I thought maybe there's a reason for that.
I'm sure there are.
That's not. So how would Superfluid handle trade embargoes for different countries where it's definitely not allowed to make payments from or to?
Well, that's the power of P2P, right? We don't make any payments. We don't handle any. We don't process anything.
But it's the same for Stripe, right? I mean, they
No,
also don't
Stripe-
make any or
Stripe
Swift
processes
or all
payments.
this.
I would argue there's a very big difference between a peer-to-peer solution and a custodial solution, right? Stripe is an intermediary, first of all, right? So they acquire the user's credit card information and they process the transactions. They're actively pulling from the payer and paying the receiver, right? They're actively doing this. When you use Superfluid, you are interacting with the counterparty through a smart contract, but there is no kind of intermediation by a company. We don't gatekeep or we don't have any control over those things happening, right? So it's not that comparable, I would say.
Yeah.
Frank, can I add something, a question / comment? So it's like Superfluid is building this amazing thing that a lot of us are building on. I think that it would be really cool, and maybe this has already happened, but like whether it's in the Discord or somewhere, because we are in the real world. And unfortunately, I know you've seen this just, with everything Superfluid's doing, is that like, for example, for us, like we're going to build out a Superfluid checkout process. But I woke up in the middle of the night thinking, I was like, man, because of we do have a company, like we're going to need to do invoices. So how do we at least get the minimum if someone opens a stream to Uni Whales that we have that? So it'd be really cool if without everyone having to hire a lawyer, if we could at least share common best practices with a disclaimer, not legal advice. Here's what you can do to be compliant. These are some, I think that would be really cool. And I'm happy, as I learned with Uni Whales, to share that with the rest of the community.
Yeah, there is more to it than invoicing. Is actually there's a little bit of accounting involved. There is a little bit of understanding when someone is actually getting paid and when it's not. Understanding if there is an unpayment risk. So is my client going to pay, or is he going to run out of funds on that wallet and then the payment stops? All those things should be taken care of to some degree. And also there is an invoicing element for sure. So there is, for example, a company called Request Network. They are doing invoices for normal payments on Ethereum. So we are trying to talk to them, but in general, I think it would be cool if there were more tools out there that service, let's say, DAOs or entities that are transacting within Web3, and making sure that they have all the tools they need. We are constantly talking to companies or DAOs that have issues with just bare minimum accounting, not talking streams, just regular accounting. So adding a streaming element to that would add just complexity. So we ourselves are taking steps to make sure we can lower the barriers to entry on the accounting side. However, it's not that easy to make something which is good for everybody out there. Also because accounting is very jurisdiction dependent. So each state has its own rules. So the only way so far we found to, let's say, integrate the accounting element is just to integrate with existing softwares. So if you are running any generally available accounting software, I think the best way forward would be to plug crypto into that so that you can be fully compliant with all the taxes you need to pay and all the eventual audits or eventual regulation in place to make sure that you are completely compliant with the local regulation. So we will take more steps to help DAOs and companies that want to build or use these tools. But if you look out there, there aren't many solutions, and all the solutions that there are out there are mostly for financial speculation. So if you do have crypto assets, how many are you selling and buying, and then what's the delta? I'm going to tell you the capital gain tax. But there's very little for transactions or payments, if you will. So hopefully the DeFi environment and just the Web3 environment will wake up to it and then have more of these tools available. But all we can do is just try to write some best practices or push the community into developing these tools further, which we are doing already and will do more in the future.
Yeah, I mean, that's great. I really appreciate that, Mike. I think there's something you mentioned. So yeah, and I think that, and I haven't checked this. Does in app.superfluid.finance, is there like a CSV export by any chance?
Yeah, there is not at the moment. And that's one of the first things we'll need to do in order to be able to import any transactions or streams into your existing Xero or QuickBooks or other software. It gets a bit trickier because what does it mean you're exporting a stream in a CSV, right? So what we've thought about is virtualizing streams into discrete transactions on a period that you can decide. So something like you can virtualize a stream on a monthly basis. So if you're sending like $1,000 a month, you will see one single transaction in your accounting software in a date that you can potentially decide yourself, which is accumulating all the value between the previous date that you have in your accounting software and the next date. Or you can have those discrete transactions virtualized into your accounting software on a daily or hourly or weekly basis, depending on your state and your regular requirements. But that's the only way we can do it in a quick fashion right now, because no software out there is first of all up to speed with crypto, and then definitely not up to speed with streaming.
Yeah, for sure. Cool.
Nice. Well, looking forward to seeing your checkout, Matt. Like, you know how excited I am about it. So hopefully we'll be able to try that out soon. All right. Yeah, as Philip says, there is no accounting software that can catch up with crypto anyway, right? Streaming money is probably a few thousand years to advance for them, but we'll do what we can. And I think in the spirit of open source, like you were saying, Matt, it's good that we share these best practices. You know, we are after all building something new, and it's very important to document not just the code, right? It's more than just the code. If we want people to adopt these kinds of payments, there's a lot of extra work we need to do, both in communicating what we do, why we do it, but also in documenting how to actually accept payments like this as a business, as an individual. So yeah, absolutely lots of stuff that we will need to work on in that sense. Right. Well, if there are no more questions, I'd like to maybe give the floor to Marcus, and Marcus can show us the really, really cool stuff they've been working at over at Lab 10.
Okay. Hold on a second. Usually Thomas would do the presentations. So can you see the browser window? Yeah. Yes, so. And yeah, what we made was streaming farms to not only get more liquidity into the trading pools, but also to secure them and make an APY that's a little bit more based in reality. And so if you want to check it out, go to minerva.digital, hit the farm button here on top. That will take you to farm.minerva.digital. And then you're here. Right now, every farm is maxed out already. So with the current version that's online, I can't show you how to put things in there or out there. But since that's a presentation, we built up a small dev farm that's running just locally here on my machine, which we have down here. So you can connect via MetaMask or Wallet Connect, doesn't matter. And I'll just prepare here something just to show you that in this account, I already have here 13.37 liquidity pool tokens from Miva XDAI. And they show up right here. So basically how it works is you have this liquidity pool token. And if you want to put it in the farm, you connect to it, you approve it. I already did that. Usually you would see here the approve button. And then you say how much you want to put in there. Let's do all just for the fun. Hit farm, then confirm it, wait for the transaction to get confirmed. And let's wait just for a second. Come on. Yes. Okay, got to confirm. Gets down to 0 because the farm now holds all the liquidity pool. And what you get back is an NFT. That's the one we got right now by putting this 13.37 in there. And basically how it works is whoever holds this NFT gets the reward stream. And how much do you get? It's based on the amount, of course, of the amount of liquidity pool tokens you put into the farm, but also there are levels. You're on level 1, and when you start putting something in there, but after 7 days, you can level up to level 2, and then you get 22.6 APY. On 30, after 30 days, you can level up to 30.7, 35.7. After 90 days, and so on and so on, until you reach the maximum after 1 year, and then you have an APY of 124.7% in return. That, for us, it attracts others to put liquidity in there, and with the level system, you also have the benefit that they have an incentive to leave it in the farm and not pull it out, because once you can always unfarm it and get your LP token back. But if you put it back in there, you start again on level 0. So the longer you leave it in there, the better it is for you. And the dev farm I have here, we tweaked some tiny little bits for the presentation. So the level up doesn't take 3 weeks or 4 weeks. It's just 1 hour. And so you can see in the afternoon, I put some liquidity into that farm. And this one is already it's still on level 1, but you could level up to level 3 right now. You can see that it's marking it. And also the flower is growing from level 1 to level 3. And if you want to level up, you just hit the button, hit confirm, wait for it. And once the transaction got confirmed, there should be the new APY, the level, and also it should be still. Also the circles, the movement around should be faster than this level 1. That's actually the number 5. That's actually one of the maxed out LP NFT farming NFTs I'm actually holding for the official farm. So
is this live on XDAI?
It's live on XDAI, yeah, but the farm is just not available. So and there it is. Now it's on level 2. Oh, sorry. In 3 hours, I could level up to level 3. Right now, you can level up to level 2. everything that's on farm.minerva.digital, that's live. And the only difference on my side here is that I just have in my development account one additional farm that's just for fun. And yeah, and if you hold that that token, that NFT, that also opens up the reward stream. So you don't get paid whenever you pull it out or something else. You get a continuous stream. The flow rate depends on the level and the LPs you played in there. That's why if you go to the Superfluid dashboard, and let's do a refresh here, because then we should see already the incoming Miva flow that's coming from the one streaming farm NFT we just provided. Let's, one second, see a further transaction. And not sure if it's that one or if it already showed up, but that's definitely the one I have. That's one of my, the big one I already have in my farm here. So yeah, if you want to stop farming, you can always hit stop farming, then confirm it. And like here, I placed 7 LP tokens. So once the transaction goes through, you should have here 5 LP tokens more. And if you go to HoneySwap back, then I mean, this should be empty now because there were no. And
Nice.
once it refreshes, yeah, it got confirmed now. And then I have the 5 back. I already just unfarmed. And I also gave back the NFT. And since if you saw that they are maxed out, the farms currently, so you can't put liquidity into the farms right now, which means you can't get an NFT. But if you still want to have an NFT, there's a separate DeFi section on Eporio on the NFT market on XDAI chain. If you click down here, then you get to tokens and the DeFi section, and there are all issued NFTs from the farm. So there you can trade it or make an offer if you want to buy something. And you can also see which one you're holding for yourself, or yeah, that's basically it. We're doing some slight, we're already working on that. You can also see here already what's the last listing price, or if there's a higher offer, that's will be in the next deployment in there. Yeah, so that's basically it. I can show you that's how the first level looks like, the second, the third, fifth. So the flower is always growing. And also depending on which farm you're in, the gradient in the background is different.
Nice.
That's basically it.
I think it's really cute, to be honest. The owl with the flower underneath. I don't know where you got that idea, but it's very pretty.
Yeah, they are also growing up here on the top.
Nice. So yeah, I think this is the first streaming farm we've seen. If anybody's interested in how this was achieved from a smart contract point of view, I've seen the contracts. They're all open source. It's pretty cool. It's actually a very simple contract. Like maybe more of you have seen with Superfluid, some of the contracts which you think are difficult are actually quite simple. And yeah, I think the result is really cool. Yeah, you see someone's asking for the GitHub link. I don't have that.
I think Diddy can provide that.
Yeah, but
could in case.
If you could share that would be cool. So
yes.
yeah, I hope we see more of these, because they've been really interesting. It's really interesting to see the activity that they bring in. You know, it's very strange, right? There's one kind of distributor everybody's receiving, but we're monitoring it a bit in the background. It's pretty cool. Is anyone in here in the farms? You don't have to you don't have to tell us if you don't want.
Yeah. So and yeah, and basically one of the streaming farms will be also one of the biggest focus we are having on the hackathon then. The Lab 10 also participates in the Hacking Money. And
Nice.
so hopefully at the end of the hackathon, we will have something great and new to share about the streaming farms.
Wow, very cool. Very cool stuff.
Okay. Any questions?
Philip says in the chat, he's asking if you're using Gnosis Safe for, is that why you're using an owl in the logo?
No, it's not related to that.
Okay,
No.
so it's a coincidence. All right.
But we do
Nice.
use Gnosis Safe for a lot of stuff. So
Yeah, Gnosis Safe is also supported by Superfluid, by the way. If anybody wants to use it, you can use it directly, add it as a custom safe app, and then you can open streams from the multisig. I don't know if anybody's had a chance to do that yet, but it's live on XDAI, and soon will be live on Polygon as well.
I was just going to ask my question there. I mean, it looks great, the Minerva project. I was just asking on how kind of, because I see on the GitHub you're using Gnosis Safe. I mean, how is that integrating with you guys? I mean, what have you done there, or how are you using it?
Is that directed to us? Or
Yeah,
to
yeah.
Superfluid? I think hopefully Didi can join his in the car, because he's more of the backend kind of guy. Let's hope.
No, we can't hear you, Didi. I think it's not going to work from the car.
Yeah. I mean, as far as I can tell, we're using Gnosis Safe to always secure the funds and everything. So everything is multi-sig. So not the single team member can access everything. But for the farms itself, better maybe he can write it into the chat.
Yes, it's cool to see Gnosis used on something like this. That's why. Thanks.
Yeah, and Carlito, because he was writing in. Yeah, it's you don't have to claim anything. You don't have to harvest anything. You can you have 0 exit fees, and compared to other farms, your APY increases over time. So instead of a high APY in the beginning, and then it gets less and less and less over time. So it's a little bit of a different approach to the usual farming.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting also, because it kind of removes the difference between big and small players. You know, in traditional farms, the bigger your farm is, then the more likely you are to withdraw quickly. While if you have a small farm, then withdrawing becomes very expensive for you, right? So I think with streams, you never have to do that. So it kind of levels the playing field a bit, which is very interesting. What do you think, Matt? Are you going to use it in Uniwells?
Yeah, well, I was really impressed by the way that the rate changes based on time, because that's something we're obviously gonna have to figure out. So to incentivize people to subscribe for a longer amount of time. So I actually just sent that over to Joel. So really cool stuff. Lab 10. I think when Fran, you and I talk, we just kind of went over yeah, there's obviously some challenges we have to figure out because it's new, but it seems like with Superfluid, anything can be done. You just have to think about it. But I just think that's really interesting. I think Fran, you do the same thing. I stopped doing a lot of these farms, even though I've seen people in our DAO that have yeah, man, I quit my job after all the Polygon stuff after a month. So I definitely feel some FOMO. But at the same time, I think I want to even just put a small amount. I want to try out this farm on Honey just to see it work in action. I think it would be really cool because I've only used Superfluid so far on Polygon. I haven't had a chance to use it on XDAI. So yeah, I just want to say it's really cool, and I appreciate that presentation quite a bit.
Cool. Great.
Cool stuff. I think adding those animations is also good. We've seen a lot of this with Superfluid. Everybody wants to put animations in their website, and I think I think it really works.
Yeah.
Kind of, it shows you that kind of the stuff is alive and the money's moving, and
yeah,
I think it's very powerful.
The good thing is that I want to see them, and I'm building the UI, so that's why there are so many animations in there, because I want to see them myself in there.
Yeah, we actually added a part in the last presentation we did was like, I was telling Pat, we have to make the money move. We have to have that animation there so people can take it and put it in their hacks.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, if the number doesn't move on the screen, you don't know that the stream is working.
Yes.
Right? There's just no way to know, because obviously the number underneath is not actually changing, right? The flow rate is static. But if I just show you a flow rate, you don't compute that the money is moving, right? So it's interesting how we need these UI tricks to kind of, you know, get the message across.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, yeah. So who else in here is joining Hack Money? Do you maybe want to tell us what you're going to hack on? Brian, do you have an idea yet?
I have too many ideas. That's the problem. But yeah, no, there's a couple I'm considering. Got a buddy of mine. I already told you, Fran, but just maybe for the group, buddy of mine turned down a big job so he could keep some time aside to work on crypto, which I thought was inspiring. He's seen where things have gone over the years and kind of start to blossom, you know. So I always call it a Cambrian explosion, just because there's just people, you know, a year or 2 years ago could never have imagined it would all look like this now. So I think Superfluid is a very interesting, you know, element to that. And the same way that no one could imagine Ethereum would be where it is today, DeFi and NFTs and all this kind of stuff. I mean, it's not the way it is today. I think that it's really cool to think what, you know, Superfluid could be used in later. And yeah, I mean, we've thrown out ideas of, you know, kind of like a streaming, like services platform, you know, where people almost like Fiverr or something, but, you know, streaming, maybe very ad hoc. A friend and I talked a little bit about some, you know, maybe some accounting tooling for DAOs where maybe we don't replace, you know, make a whole new DAO framework, but maybe something that can plug in like an expansion pack to allow them to monitor with those animations again, like something, you know, it's very, very visual what's going on. I don't know what product this would fit into, but I do imagine very much like the app we just saw, like showing money piping from one place to another, almost if you're like sitting in like a water treatment plant where you have, you know, these, you know, doesn't have to be pipes, but you know, you can definitely see money coming from one reservoir to another. You can see the level of those different reservoirs, because if it empties and the stream's gone, right, it stops. So I think kind of starting to, maybe in an elegant way, starting to show these streams as animations. You know, early web was very flashy and crazy, and now it's like kind of refined, you know, and it's not overbearing, right? There's nice styling, there's nice text, you know. The web is kind of, Web 2 is sort of matured that. And I'm curious with Superfluid and animations, if there's a way we can kind of have this live UI that's not like gonna make your you know, eyes bleed. I think what we just saw was a great example of where that can really look interesting, but not overbearing. And I'm kind of curious to, I think it's very easy, could be very easy to build some really cool little hack apps or even full production apps that people can jump into real quick. And just like Uniswap with the LPs, NFT LPs, where you have an LP and now you have this really cool little NFT that's animated and it kind of shows you, you know, what your liquidity range is. I feel like there's stuff like that for Superfluid and streams. But yeah, that's just a couple of things we're thinking about, but no strict plans right now for Hackathon.
Yeah, it's actually really interesting you mentioned the Uniswap LP tokens, because like I was chatting with Didi, who's also from working with Marcus, and like that was so cool. The fact that they put the SVGs on chain was just you know, extremely impressive solidity work. And I think having something similar for Superfluid streams on chain would be cool, but having it off chain and visual and in UIs and, you know, getting people to understand it is ultimately also very important. And yeah, as I said before, one of the reasons we're sponsoring the hackathon with so many prizes is last year HackMoney was really good. There were some really, really good hacks in there, and we hope to see similarly some things that could, really propel adoption and make people use it for those online payments that we really want to see. Obviously, you don't have to build it in the context of a hackathon, but I know, for example, Matt is working on this for Uniwhales, right? They want to start accepting subscriptions, so they really need a good UX UI for checkouts, right? And they need that visual experience that guides the user to understand what's happening and to kind of be taken across the chasm of going from a normal payment to a stream payment. So yeah, there's a lot of work and design work that we have to put into that. But we think, as you said, the web's getting more refined. So if we can do a good job like Marcus and the rest of the MIUI team, then it'll be good.
Can I just add something to what you're saying, Fran? Just from my perspective, I was thinking about. I mean, we're lucky that we have Joel and Mike's, still helps us out. So, and of course, the Superfluid team. Like, obviously building out and making what we're doing work with subscriptions is one thing, and I'm confident that will happen. But I actually think maybe it's the biggest challenge is, I like you said, we're fully deployed Web3. We also feel the same way, like ideologically. It's kind of lame that like all these like crypto companies are like, oh yeah, check out what we have. It's like, by the way, like pay us with like credit card. And I do know there is some pressure there, and you have to be pragmatic. But I think that let's say someone that's only bought like BTC or Ethereum on Coinbase and saying, okay, you're gonna have to like connect to Polygon, wrap to SuperDAI and like check out. And this is what's gonna happen. Here's how you like top up your stream to keep your subscription going. Here's how you cancel. Like the UI UX as well as the text and the copy to make that happen is going to be a fun but also hard challenge, and so we're excited to do that. But we know it's going to take a lot of thought process and getting maybe a friend of mine who's not so into crypto to like test it out and be like what and that type of stuff will be really important work for all of us to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, but that's going to be true for everything DeFi. Even
for sure, not just Superfluid, but like I think because we're thinking payments, because a lot of people like payments, especially because that was the original goal of crypto, right? I mean, obviously it changed a lot with Bitcoin, but that was like crypto is for payments, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think finding some way to onboard people from somewhere like Coinbase would be very interesting. Like if you from Coinbase could open a stream to Uniwhales, then I'm sure with a custodial interface in the back end, it's very easy to make it make it happen and make it work. So that's also a possibility. I'm not saying it's around the corner, but it could happen at some point.
I had a question for like the room and Superfluid, if you guys have thoughts on this. Do you foresee a world where there's a lot of generalized like plugins, whether that's visual in the UI, like we've been seeing, like a React, component, or Solidity, or even JavaScript, SDK, or just these little components? Do you see a lot of that kind of being generalized for people to pick up and use, or do you think that there's going to have to be a lot of? Do you think people are these projects, are we going to be floating towards kind of our own implementations? I could see that going both ways. I'm curious what the other projects here think they'd like to use a toolkit like that or just roll their own.
This is Darnell. Just off being probably the least developmental experienced person here, I think the whole idea of it, something that people can just pick up is cool and it could happen, but you're pretty much relying on the marketing of the crypto space to really penetrate, most of the people's hearts and minds far past what a news cycle can do, right? Because most people are only really as engaged as they're told to be, and is as important to them. So this is from my experience, because I know, one of the guys earlier who had dropped off the call, Mike, he has a cohort that he does, and I do something similar. So a lot of the people in the cohort, yeah, in the beginning, and then as things fade in their real life about how important it is, to kind of take advantage of some of these opportunities, so does their involvement. So I think, as far as to say that it can go either way, I totally agree with you. But I think if we kind of keep pushing to, keep pushing, we can create a crescendo that will bleed over, and I think we won't have to worry about, creating so much of our own implementations.
Hey, Dustin, I was reading your comments on the chat. Yeah, it sounds like a great hack. And if you guys want to build it out at HackMoney, we would be more than happy to support you and then just helping you to find a team eventually. It's something that potentially could be very powerful.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Michelle or Michael?
Just call me Mike. It's easier for everybody.
Right, cool. Thank you very much. Sorry, I'm a dumb American. but yeah, no, I'm really super new to the whole hacking and everything. But I've been creating NFTs, and I'm kind of just generally a creative idea man myself. But I specialize in art and aesthetics. However, I'm super intrigued in learning how to get into hacking and building codes, and I have a little bit of introduction to Solidity and things like that. But most of all, I have a willingness to learn. And so I've been talking with Mike a bit, and to just kind of answer anything. If anybody wants to throw me programs or names of programs, like, hey, go look at this, go learn this, I'm on board. Like, just I've been looking for some kind of education myself, and I keep on coming up short. And it seems like nobody has any real education, like things like this, as far as going to college for it. And so I've just been really self-taught. And so this whole experience with the hackathon is super great, and I appreciate any opportunities.
You are in two right places. First of all, you are in this community, and here, for example, we have quite a few people that nobody is born a developer, and nobody has to be a developer. You can just join the industry as a creator, as an NFT creator. You don't have to learn Solidity, even though learning how to code gives you the superpowers. So one person that might really help you out here is Patrick, who is, is the depth and breadth of learning how to program Solidity and whatnot. So he can point you to the right resources. And then the second place that you're really in the right place is HackMoney, because these hackathons are, at the end of the day, we are building because we have fun, but it's all about learning. And it's about learning a lot in the blockchain industry, about business, about starting projects, about the creator space, about new tools available. So please try to take the most out of this. There is a mentoring channel on HackMoney Discord, where people are usually answering questions. There's a lot of mentors around, and there will be judges as well that also function as mentors. So I'm sure you'll get the most out of it. And we are more than happy to have you here. We do welcome people even from outside of the blockchain community. So knowing you have been in the NFT space already makes you a pro in a way.
Awesome, thank you. And this is exactly what I was looking for the past, I don't know, couple months actually, is just somebody or peers that I can be like, hey, am I kind of doing this right? Like, is this good? Like, but yeah, I have a bunch of amateur NFTs on OpenSea with Backstreet NFT. If anybody wants to go check those out. Otherwise, yeah, Patrick, just shout out to you. Forgive me, I've been overwhelmed with watching workshops and stuff, but I saw some workshop with you and Francesco, and you guys killed it. I love Superfluid. I love your vision, and I just want to say thank you for reaching out to me, Mike. You brought me into this great environment, and I appreciate it. So, all right, you guys.
Nice, man. This is the kind of stuff we wake up in the morning for. Thanks. Let's get you on the team now and hacking some cool stuff.
Awesome. Yeah. So where do I go from this? Or do I is somebody just going to add me to a list and tag me? Or I'm relatively new to being part of a Zoom meeting and joining Superfluid. So forgive me if I have dumb questions.
Yeah, no worries. So for the hackathon, I'd say the best thing is just hanging out on Discord, both ours and the hackathon Discord. And then I guess what we can do, so me and Mike are kind of trying to coordinate the team so we can tag you whenever there's someone that might need someone, and maybe just try and match you up. But it's easier when it's in person, right? Because people kind of just
Yes.
congregate. But when it's online, you have to put in a bit of effort to create a team if you don't know anyone before. So
Exactly.
yeah, the key is to be proactive and kind of message people and say, hey, I really like your idea. Can I join in? And that's kind of how you do it.
I think I made one of the coolest looking slides in the slideshow. So I mean, that was my kind of like, hey, I'm waving, I'm creative. Look at me, I might have ideas. I don't know how to create them, but I'm sure you guys do. So,
Sounds
and
good. We'll keep tagging you every time there is a team that might need some creative help, or we will, if you have your project and you want to go forward with something that you believe is useful, we can always help you to build a team of maybe developer engineers around you.
awesome. Thank you very much. And I'll be looking forward to those.
Cool, guys. We have hit the hour, 10 minutes late maybe. Do we have any other questions or anything that is pressing, anything you'd like to know or just suggest?
All right, maybe Mike, maybe we can stop recording so everybody can tell us their secret ideas for the hackathon.
Oh, that's the best part. Why would you stop recording? There's no such a thing as a secret idea. It's all about execution. We know that already. No, so is there anyone who has suggestions, on the dashboard or a protocol, anything we can improve? We actually stepped up the dashboard quite substantially. We have now full-on quality assurance on it, so that we've been basically debugging it for the last month. It should be a lot smoother as an experience, but we can definitely improve it. I know Marcus has suggestions to make for sure there. So yeah, don't be shy, tell us, and we'll listen as much as we can for our capacity, but we'll try to do our best.
One day I get these nervous jitters out enough to come on and do a presentation on this community calls, but we gotta take a few more weeks.
Really looking forward to it. Yeah, I know. Well, you did show a bit something during the last one, right? Just a couple.
No, that was that was G2. That was what they were doing with creative. We had collaborated actually from that.
Okay.
Yeah, creative, because they were working with music artists, so we work in the same industry. So we kind of connected outside and on Discord from this community call actually.
Nice.
So Superfluid actually put us together. That's actually awesome. And we're working on basically, just to throw this out there. So we're working on actually getting the streaming component of like Spotify and how streams work, and royalties are honored to certain artists directly peer-to-peer from different services. So now that they can actually see those streams happen, and they can see the money go straight to their Web3 wallets and stuff like that, that can create other financial services for them and stuff like that. So it's a lot more to come.
Very cool. Very cool. So cool that we could connect you guys. I think that's the whole point of this. So amazing to see that happen. Are you in the hackathon or no?
Oh yes. So we just registered actually, because I've been so busy on that side of things, trying to work through the process, getting people comfortable with crypto still. Imagine, right? We had that big fallout with Bitcoin over the past month or so. So that kind of created some FUD around some things and regulation here in New York and all that. So, mudding through those waters, back to, I guess you could say ground zero of sorts. But yes, definitely we are part of that, registered. And we can't wait to work on it.
Wait, Darnell, what was the big fallout in Bitcoin a month ago?
Oh, no, it was I guess, it was, just because Bitcoin took a fall, I guess. Whatever. I don't know. I don't pay attention to that stuff. I'm too busy trying to work with Superfluid and creative to kind of solve this whole thing in the music industry of artists getting paid directly, and the new services want to create the crypto. So yeah.
That's awesome.
Sounds good. It's good to hear not everybody's focused on price, but yeah, we'll see if we can create stable income so that we don't have to look at the speculative income anymore, right?
Absolutely.
All right. All right. Awkward silence, but nobody is leaving. So everybody's either expecting something or is holding back on something they want to say.
Yeah. This is the moment where you break up the meeting and go for pizzas and beers all together, and then it becomes a long night out having fun. Unfortunately, we can't really do that online. So given Marcus doesn't want to grill us on UX UI, I think we can wrap it up here. So thanks everybody for joining us today. If you have questions, please do send them onto our Discord or Twitter. We are always happy and receptive, and we'll take on any feedback you have. Just to remind you, the next community call is going to be on the 15th of July at the same time. And there is an event on Luma that is already up and running where you can register if you want to. We will send you out invitations on the email that you use to register for this event as well. So I hope to see you all at the hackathon. Francesco, me, and Patrick are there like 24/7 these days. So let us know if you are building something cool. We'd like to help you out. And thanks again for coming today.
Thank you. Have a great rest of your day.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everyone.
See you on
Bye.
Discord.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Cheers.